Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's a big news day. I got to ring the bell for the breaking news. I see social media is rife with commentary about the NHL team from Seattle. They've announced their team name and the jersey. It's the Seattle Kraken. Not a fan. Here, Meyer's a huge fan, and
Yep.
Darren, you're somewhere in between. Fair?
Yep.
More on that in a minute. They've already nicknamed the arena where they play the Krak House.
Oh, jeez.
Awesome. I can just see them saying, that's exactly what we wanted. Sports update. It's opening day in the majors. Washington ace Max Scherzer is set to throw out the first pitch of the coronavirus-delayed season when he faces Garrett Cole and the Yankees at Nationals Park, 7:09 Eastern. Later, L.A. lefty Clayton Kershaw takes on the rival San Francisco Giants at Dodger Stadium. The Montreal Impact are headed to the round of 16 at the MLS is Back tournament. The Impact had their passage to the knockout stage of the World Cup-style tournament confirmed Wednesday when FC Cincinnati defeated the New York Red Bulls 2-0. The Impact will play Group A winner Orlando City on Saturday. By the way, breaking news, our soccer insider Simon is texting me guys from Vancouver. He's on the morning game, Vancouver and Chicago. You know, the Whitecaps had to win by 2. You following this? Darren, you're the soccer guy.
Of course.
So here was the thing. Toronto FC had already qualified. The Vancouver Whitecaps playing Chicago today needing to win by at least 2 goals, and they did. 2-0 Whitecaps over the Chicago Fire. Saskatoon's Thomas Hassel with a shutout.
Clean sheet.
Yeah. A clean sheet for Thomas Hassel, Saskatoon kid. So if there's any more reason to watch MLS is Back for Saskatchewan fans, that's it. And there you go. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, Saskatchewan's newest entertainment destination. Our arcade games and batting cages are officially open. No reservation necessary. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. And it's pretty cool, by the way. They own the MLS team, the New York Red Bulls. They own the hockey team over there in Germany, München. They're called the Red Bulls, and I only knew that because I ran into Keith Ollie, one of their defensemen, in the gym a couple of weeks ago, and he is headed to Germany.
How's he doing?
What do you think? He's an Ollie.
I know,
Sun shining on him most days. Yeah. So, way to go, Red Bull. Now, where do we go from here? I know you got thoughts on the commissioner of the NLL, Nick Sikiewicz, just with a direct, this is what we're doing, here we go. Very impressive. Meanwhile, the CFL, the date's a soft date. It's a floating date. We hear the owners don't really want to play because they'll lose less money by not playing, yet they want to make it look like the players are against playing. So there's all that. And then, of course, the Seattle Kraken. But, Derek, you're the guest in the bunker here today. Your thoughts on Nick Sikiewicz's thoughts, and because you said your mind was comparing it to the CFL as he was talking.
And that's one of the first times I think I've heard him speak. Usually we have, the Urbans, either Brandon or Bruce or somebody on. Really impressed by his, you could just see why the guy's in the position he is as a leader. It was clear, it was concise. They saw where their plan was and they decided to go with it. He already said, we're not playing in December. We're looking at our different models. We're trying to figure out where we're going. There is issues. I mean, and he mentioned it. If MLB can't get the Blue Jays to play in Toronto, now Pittsburgh doesn't even want them. There is issues with playing these things. And it just got my mind going of the challenges the CFL is facing. And I just, I hearken back. In March, when leagues started shutting down, the NHL, the NBA, we knew that things were going to be very different and look very different. At that point, the CFL had to know that things were going to look different. But I think there was this ongoing, and again, I'm not at the boardroom, but this ongoing hope, training camp might start a week late, or that. It was always going on a hope and a prayer. Ambrosi goes before, the government. It was a hope and a prayer. He just showed up with his lunchbox and thought that they were going to start putting 20s in it. Well, that's not the way it works. And now we've gotten to the last week of July, and it is, DEFCON 1. It is time to get this thing done, and they don't seem very close at all. I can't necessarily blame the players. It always seems like the players have to concede. Well, the league is trying to take what they can on this one. And quite honestly, when you see the math, and you're going to get paid a third of your salary in Canadian funds.
Let me bring it back. And by the way, to the Prairie Mobile text line, 306-840-8777. Prairie Mobile is your authorized SaaS telemobility dealer. Metal Shingle Guy texts in and says, fat lady is warming up.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I will take the owner's side on this. And I used to be all pro owner. but I'm not anymore. I'm pro player and coach. And believe me, there are two distinct sides between the two. I've switched sides. I've crossed the floor, as you politicians say.
Yeah.
But in the owner's defense, they're only playing a third of the games, so why would they not pay a third of the salary? That makes no sense to me. You're always going to prorate the deal. Baseball players are prorating, are they not? Yes, they are. Mm-hmm. So I'm not with the players on that one.
But
and actually, you know what? Games. It's not as much about the wage as much, from what I'm told, about the health and safety, testing.
But there's more to what a player does. He's still, even if you're playing a third of the games, they still have to stay in shape the same amount of time. All the input costs that a player would put into that. They're not only getting ready 1/3 of the time. No, they're lifting weights every day. They're working every day. They're going over film. They're still doing all that stuff. The game day, that is 1/5 of what they do. They work on a 5-day cycle when it comes to players.
But if this is the way that they're paid, they're paid by the game in a regular year.
But I get their argument that's saying, hey, we're putting all this input work in. So what if there's only 6 games? We should still see and
that's what they
a bigger portion.
Sure,
and I don't blame them for that.
But it's the same as me as a broadcaster, right? I got to continue to stay up to date on what's happening with the league, where news is going, things like that. But I only get paid per game when you go in to call a football game. So while we're sitting here tweeting, making sure we're up to date on, when it comes to Canada West eligibility criteria, we're putting in all that work, making sure we stay sharp, figuring out what teams are going to do, how they're getting ready, doing all that prep work. We only get paid per game. The difference is I can sit back and collect the SERP. So the players should be collecting the SERP. If they're collecting $2,000 a month, at least they're being paid now, and they're not expected to spend a whole year preparing, not taking another job for a third of the salary. At least they can be compensated a little bit. And if that's not happening, that's the problem I have.
Yeah, I'm with the players on this one. And at the end of the day, like the woe is me where the little CFL thing just isn't flying anymore. When you've got MLSE, you've got very solid franchises in Edmonton, in Saskatchewan, in Winnipeg, David Braley,
Calgary, Ottawa, corporately owned.
Corporately owned. This whole woe is me CFL, we only have a few dollars and cents, owners, mom and pop league, that doesn't fly for me anymore when it comes to that. And I don't blame the players for putting their foot down.
Well, there's a small amount of people sucking out a large amount of money out of the Canadian Football League right now. And they're the decision makers, by the way. I see the people writing in this morning that are all over Commissioner Randy Ambrosie. All across the country, they're all over Ambrosie. And I just look at it this way. He represents the presidents, the people you never see. Randy's the front man. Mm-hmm. Now, he's making a huge wage himself. He's taken a cut, but 25% off $750,000, still pretty nice wage at the end of the day. But he is the front man for the presidents who are actually making the decisions. You look at the NHL, they've had one commissioner since 1992.
But a good leader will suggest things to his owners. Gary Bettman suggests things to his owners. And so if you do, you can't just put this all at the owners' feet. Randy Ambrosie has to be a leader here, too.
Hey. Point, counterpoint. I'm just saying, as I was trying to say, the NHL's had one commissioner since 1992. Yeah. How long has Goodell been on the job? Pardon me, since the 90s?
Wow.
Late 90s has it been?
Tagliabue forever for that, yeah.
CFL, Randy Ambrosie, Jeffrey Orridge, Mark Cohon, Tom Wright, Michael Lisko.
Holy cow. That's not
Jeff Giles, all since 99. Yeah. It's 5 or 6 commissioners. So do you think that any one of those guys could have done a better job than what Randy Ambrosie's done?
It's tough.
Meanwhile, the presidents and owners have all been the same, and now they're at death's door, clearly. So, anyways, what do we got for time here, guys? Brian Warriston checking in from Vancouver. He says, but Rod, the biggest issue for me is he dropped the ball on his initial ask from the government, went in unprepared, and set the whole process back, in my opinion. Oh, you might be right. I'm not sitting here arguing with anybody. As I said to one of the guys on the phone this morning, I like Randy. Randy's a good man. But that's my perspective. You might have had a different one, right? If you have to form an opinion on somebody, I say just form it on how they treat you. That's generally how I roll. And I don't have an issue with Randy Ambrosie, but the coaches do, and the players have an issue with him. But that's there. Can I, again, whether it's the Seattle team, dumb name, or the commissioner, am I not entitled to my opinion here?
To steal a line from tomorrow's show, nice guys run the Kinsman Club, Rod. Nice
guys run the Kinsman Club. Okay. Viewer takeover is next. Prairie Mobile text line loaded up, 306-840-8777. Prairie Mobile is your authorized SaskTel Mobility Network. Also, you can write us in on the Facebook wall. Hour 2 of the program will be broadcast on Facebook Live only. And at that time, we'll be joined by Dominic Picard and Lee Genier. Hang on, we'll be right back. It's the RP Show across North America on Game Plus TV Network. And you're watching and listening around the world on the Rod Pedersen Broadcasting Network.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.